My brother posted a photo of my grandmother's funeral, the day I missed it because I was unconscious in a trauma ward 60 miles away. He captioned it, "Family first, always." 32 people commented condolences. My mother replied with a prayer hands emoji. Nobody mentioned I wasn't there. Nobody asked why. 3 years later, they called asking if I'd come home for Thanksgiving, because they needed somewhere to stay. And for the first time in my adult life, I got to be the one holding all the cards. What I did with them surprised everyone, including me. Before I continue, if this story resonates with you, please hit that like button and subscribe. And drop a comment letting me know where you're watching from, what time it is there. I genuinely love reading those. My name is Maya. I'm 31 years old, and this is the story of how losing everything taught me what I was actually worth. Let me take you back to a Wednesday afternoon in March, 3 years ago, the day my life split clean down the middle. I was living in Tacoma, Washington, in a one-bedroom apartment above a Vietnamese restaurant, the kind of place where the smell of pho seeps into your clothes, where the neon sign outside flickers every night at exactly 9:47. I was 28, working as a junior graphic designer at a marketing agency downtown. The pay was livable, enough for rent, groceries, my car payment, the monthly installments on my student loans, not enough for savings. Never enough for savings. Every other Sunday, I'd video call my mom. It was our thing, or at least I thought it was. She'd answer. We'd talk for maybe 5-6 minutes tops. Then I'd hear it, Tyler's voice in the background, her golden child, my older brother, saying something that made her laugh. And she'd say, "Honey, I need to call you back. Tyler just got here." She never called back, not once in 2 years. I still sent Mother's Day cards, still texted my dad on his birthday, still asked about Christmas plans, even though the answer was always, "We'll figure it out closer to the date," followed by silence. My emergency contact at work still listed my parents' address in Spokane, the house I grew up in, the one they sold without telling me, moving to a bigger place with Tyler and his wife Amber. I kept meaning to update it, but changing it felt like admitting something I wasn't ready to face, that I was truly, utterly alone. But I'd scroll through Facebook, and there they were, my parents at Tyler's lake house, my mom and Amber at a wine tasting, matching outfits, matching smiles, family trips to Cabo San Lucas, 4 people in every photo, 2 couples. Nobody mentioned the 5th family member who wasn't invited, who was never invited. I scrolled back once, late at night when I couldn't sleep. 2 years of holidays, 2 Thanksgivings, 2 Christmases. I wasn't in a single picture, not one. I remembered my father's words when I was 15. We were in the kitchen. He was going through bills. He looked up at me and said, "Your brother's going to take over the family business someday. He's an investment. You..." He paused, looked back down. "You're just expensive." I was expensive because I had epilepsy, grand mal seizures that started when I was 12. The medications cost a fortune. The ER visits even more. Tyler never had a sick day in his life. Tyler was 4 years older, the center of our family's universe. Charismatic, business savvy, the kind of guy who could sell ice to Eskimos, as my dad liked to say. My parents gave him $50,000 to start his landscaping company. They co-signed on his first house, bought him a brand new Ford F-150, which he posted about constantly. I paid for community college with federal loans. I rented a moldy studio apartment for 3 years. I drove a 2003 Honda Civic that broke down twice a month until I finally saved enough to trade it in. But the money wasn't even the worst part. The worst part was the pattern. Every single time I shared good news, a promotion, a finished project, a client who loved my work, Tyler would announce something bigger that same week. A new contract, a new property investment, a vacation to Europe. And my news would just evaporate, like it never happened. I texted my mom once after I won a regional design award. She replied 9 hours later, "That's nice, sweetie. Did you see Tyler's on the news? His company got featured in the Spokesman Review." 3 exclamation marks for Tyler. 1 sentence for me. 1 person never forgot me. Nana June, my dad's mom. Every year on my birthday, she'd send a card with $20 inside and a handwritten note. "You're braver than you know, my girl." We'd talk every few weeks, 10, 15 minutes, more than anyone else gave me. But she was getting older, her memory slipping. My dad said she was in a home now, that it was better this way. I tried to visit once. They told me I wasn't on the approved visitor list. Tyler was. I wasn't. The last time we talked, her voice was soft, confused. "Maya, honey, don't let them take what's yours. Promise me." I didn't know what she meant. I said, "I promise, Nana," thinking maybe she was just confused. A month later, she was gone. It happened on a Wednesday in March. I was driving home from work on Interstate 5 when the seizure hit. I felt the aura, that strange electrical feeling, about 30 seconds before. Just enough time to think, "Oh God, not now, not here." I tried to pull over, but I didn't make it. My foot went rigid on the gas pedal, my hands locked on the wheel. The car drifted right, clipped the guardrail, and went airborne for what felt like forever. I don't remember the impact. I don't remember the car flipping 3 times. I don't remember the semi-truck driver who called 911 or the firefighters who cut me out of the wreckage. What I do remember is waking up 2 days later in Harborview Medical Center in Seattle. My left leg was in a cast from hip to ankle. My collarbone was broken. I had a severe concussion, 12 stitches across my forehead. My neurologist said I was lucky to be alive. Lucky. The hospital tried to reach my emergency contacts. They called my parents' old number, the one I never updated. Disconnected. They found my mom's cell on my phone. She didn't answer. They left a message. Tyler's number was in there too, under brother. He answered. I found this out later, all of it later. What he said was, "Maya, we're actually at a funeral right now. Our grandmother just passed. Can this wait?" The nurse said, "Sir, your sister was in a serious car accident. She's in the ICU. And Tyler said, "Look, I'm sorry, but we can't deal with this right now. We're dealing with family stuff. Try her friends or something." Then he hung up. He went back inside the funeral home and posted a photo, saying goodbye to Nana June. Family first, always. 47 likes. My mother commented, "She's with the angels now." I didn't know any of this when I woke up. Didn't know it during the first week of recovery. Didn't know it when the social worker came to talk about my discharge plan. No family. No one to help me at home. She asked if I had friends in the area. I said, maybe? The truth was, I'd let all my friendships slide. Too busy trying to prove I was worth something to a family who never saw it. I spent 11 days in that hospital. A nurse named Doreen took extra time with me. She was in her 50s, kind eyes, a Boston accent. She'd sit with me during her breaks, help me practice walking with the crutches. On day 8, she brought me a card. Inside, it said, "You're stronger than this moment." She'd signed it, "Rooting for you, Doreen." I cried for 20 minutes. A stranger cared more than my own blood. On day 9, a woman from billing came to my room. The accident totals were staggering. Between the emergency transport, the surgery on my leg, the ICU stay, the medications, it was over $215,000. My insurance covered some, but my deductible and out-of-pocket maximum, $18,900, money I absolutely did not have. That same day, my boss emailed. Subject line, "Checking in." Body of the email, "Hi Maya, hope you're recovering well. Unfortunately, we've had to move forward with hiring a temp to cover your accounts. We'll reassess your role when you're able to return." Translation, I might not have a job anymore. I was lying in a hospital bed with a shattered leg, hemorrhaging money, and nobody from my family had called, texted, or visited. Not one person. That night, I couldn't sleep, so I opened Facebook on my phone. Tyler's latest post, a photo of him, Amber, and my parents at some fancy restaurant, wine glasses raised. Caption, "Celebrating new beginnings." 53 likes. I scrolled further. There was the funeral photo from 3 days earlier, Tyler standing between my parents, all 3 in black. The comments, "Sorry for your loss." She's in a better place. Beautiful service. Nobody asked where I was. Nobody wondered. It was like I didn't exist. I zoomed in on my mother's face. She looked sad but composed, put together, perfect makeup, perfect outfit. Like she'd had time to stage the perfect grieving family photo. And I realized something sitting there. They didn't forget to call me about Nana June's death. They chose not to. Including me would have disrupted their perfect narrative. I was the messy one, the expensive one, the one who didn't fit their frame. I opened my messages. I typed, "I was in a car accident. I'm in the hospital in Seattle. I almost died." I stared at it for 5 minutes. Then I deleted it. If they didn't care when a nurse called about a life-threatening accident, I wasn't begging for their attention anymore. So I didn't message them. I didn't call. I just let the silence sit. 2 weeks after I got out of the hospital, I got a letter in the mail. It was from a law firm in Spokane, Weaver and Associates. I almost threw it away, thought it was a collections notice or something, but I opened it. Inside was a letter, typed on thick paper. "Dear Ms. Maya Renee Callahan, we are writing to inform you that you are the primary beneficiary of the estate of June Marie Callahan, deceased. Please contact our office at your earliest convenience to discuss the details of your inheritance." I read it 3 times. I called the number. A paralegal named Stephanie answered, patient and kind. She explained, Nana June had a will, a real will, notarized, legally binding. She'd left me her house, the house in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, the one she'd lived in for 43 years with the porch swing and the apple tree in the backyard, the one my dad always said would go to Tyler because he'd actually take care of it. But that wasn't all. Nana June also left me $72,000, her life insurance policy, and a handwritten note sealed in an envelope that said, "For Maya, the only one who called." I sat on the floor of my apartment and cried so hard I thought I'd crack a rib. Not because of the money, not even because of the house, but because she saw me. She saw me when nobody else did. The inheritance took 6 weeks to process. During that time, I got exactly 0 texts from my family. Not one. I didn't reach out either. I was done. The lawyer, Mr. Weaver, told me something I'll never forget. He said, "Your grandmother came into this office 2 years ago and changed her will. She told me, they think Maya's forgettable. I'm going to make sure she's unforgettable." When the house officially became mine, I drove to Coeur d'Alene. It was May by then. The apple tree was blooming. The porch swing still creaked the same way. Inside, the house smelled like lavender and old books. I walked through every room, touching the walls, the counters, the door frames. It felt like Nana June was still there, waiting for me. I decided to keep it. I moved in that summer. I found a remote graphic design job that paid better than my old one. I hired a lawyer to handle my medical debt, set up a payment plan I could actually manage. I painted the living room a soft, pale yellow. I planted tomatoes in the backyard. I adopted a dog from the shelter, a scruffy terrier mix named Boone. For the first time in my entire adult life, I felt like I had a home. 3 months after I moved in, I got a Facebook message from Tyler. "Hey Maya, long time no talk. How've you been?" I stared at it, didn't reply. A week later, another message, this time from my mom. "Hi, sweetie, we've been thinking about you. It's been too long. Would love to catch up." I didn't respond to that one either. Then in October, I got a phone call. Unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. It was my dad. His voice sounded strained. "Maya, it's Dad. Listen, we need to talk to you about something important. Can you call me back?" I didn't. 2 days later, another call. Then a text from Tyler. "Maya, seriously, we need to hear from you. This is about family." I blocked his number. Then I got a message from Amber, Tyler's wife, someone I'd met maybe twice in my life. "Maya, please, I know things have been weird, but your family really needs you right now." That's when I knew. They'd found out about the house, about the inheritance. Maybe someone in town mentioned it. Maybe they'd finally checked Nana June's will. But they knew. And suddenly I was worth reaching out to. A week before Thanksgiving, they showed up. All 4 of them. Tyler, Amber, my mom, my dad. I saw them pull up in Tyler's truck. I watched from the window as they got out, looked at the house, at the fresh paint, the new mailbox. My mother's face, I'll never forget it. Shock. Maybe a little bit of anger. I opened the door before they could knock. We stood there, them on the porch, me in the doorway. "Maya!" My mom stepped forward like she was going to hug me. I didn't move. She stopped. "What are you doing here?" I asked. My dad cleared his throat. "We wanted to see you. It's been too long." 3 years, I said. "It's been 3 years." Tyler shifted his weight. "Look, Maya, we know things got complicated, but we're family. And, He glanced at the house. "We heard about Nana June's place. Didn't know she left it to you. Didn't know or didn't care." He blinked. "That's not fair, isn't it?" I looked at each of them. My dad, who wouldn't meet my eyes, my mom, whose smile was starting to crack, Amber, who looked like she wanted to be anywhere else. "You didn't call me when Nana died. You didn't tell me about the funeral. And when the hospital called to say I'd almost died in a car accident, Tyler told them it wasn't a good time." My mother's mouth opened. Nothing came out. Tyler's face went red. That's not how it happened." "Then how did it happen, Tyler?" Silence. My father finally spoke. "We made mistakes, Maya. We know that. But we want to make things right. We want to reconnect." "Reconnect," I repeated. "Okay, let me ask you something. If Nana June hadn't left me this house, if she hadn't left me anything, would you be standing here right now?" More silence. That told me everything. My mother tried again. "Maya, we're family. We should be there for each other. And, well, we're going through a hard time right now. Tyler's business hit some issues, and we thought maybe just for Thanksgiving we could stay here. With you, start over." I almost laughed. "You want to stay here?" "Just for a few days," Tyler added quickly. "We wouldn't be in your way." I looked at him. At all of them. These people who erased me from their lives, who let me suffer alone, who couldn't be bothered to show up when I almost died, and now they wanted my home, my inheritance, my space. I could have said a lot of things in that moment. I could have screamed. I could have slammed the door. But instead, I said something that surprised even me. No. One word. Clean. Final. My mother's face crumpled. "Maya, please." "No," I said again. "You don't get to do this. You don't get to show up after 3 years of nothing and pretend we're a family just because it's convenient for you now." My dad's voice got hard. That house should have gone to Tyler. He's the one who what? Who called her? Who visited her? Who gave a damn? I shook my head. Nana June left this house to me because I was the only one who showed up. And you know what? I'm glad she did. Because now I finally have something that's mine. Not borrowed, not conditional. Mine. Tyler took a step forward. "You're being selfish." "Am I?" I smiled, but it wasn't warm. "You want to talk about selfish? Where were you when I was in the ICU? Where were you when I couldn't walk? When I lost my job? When I needed help?" "We didn't know," my mother said, her voice breaking. "You did," I said quietly. "The hospital called. Tyler knew. He just didn't care." The silence that followed was the loudest thing I'd ever heard. Amber finally spoke. "We should go." She tugged on Tyler's arm. He didn't move. "Maya, come on, we're your family." "No," I said. "You're people I'm related to. There's a difference." I stepped back and closed the door. Not a slam, just closed it. I locked it. I walked to the kitchen, poured myself a glass of water, and stood at the window. They didn't leave right away. They stood on the porch for a few minutes, talking, arguing maybe. Then they got in the truck and drove away. I sat down at Nana June's kitchen table, the same table where she used to make me pancakes when I'd visit as a kid, and I cried. Not because I was sad, but because for the first time in my life, I chose me. I didn't wait for their approval. I didn't wait for them to see my worth. I just claimed it. In the months that followed, I heard bits and pieces through the grapevine. Tyler's business did go under. My parents downsized to a small condo in Spokane. Amber left Tyler, filed for divorce 6 months later. My mom tried to reach out twice more. I didn't respond. My dad sent a card on my birthday last year. It said, "Thinking of you." No money inside. No long note. Just those 3 words. I didn't send one back. I'm 31 now. I still live in Nana June's house. My house. I repainted the shutters last spring, a deep forest green. The apple tree produces more fruit than I know what to do with, so I make pies and give them to my neighbors. Boone's gotten older, grayer, but he still greets me at the door every single day like I'm the best thing that ever happened to him. I work as a senior designer now, fully remote. My clients love my work. My desk looks out at the lake. I'm not wealthy. I drive a used Subaru Outback. I shop at Costco. But every single bill is paid. Every single dollar is mine. And nobody gets to make me feel like I'm too expensive to love. I made one friend here who changed everything. Her name is Rachel. She owns the bookstore in town. We met when I wandered in looking for something to read, and she recommended a memoir about family estrangement. We've been best friends ever since. She comes over every Sunday. We cook badly and laugh about it. That's more family than I ever had growing up. Last month, I got a message request on Facebook from Tyler. The preview said, "I'm sorry." I didn't open it. Maybe I will someday. Maybe I won't. But it's my choice now. And that's what matters. If you're listening to this, and something about it feels familiar, if you've got people in your life who only see you when they need something, I want you to hear this. You do not owe anyone access to your peace. You don't owe them forgiveness just because they're related to you. You don't owe them your space, your time, or your heart just because they decided they want it now. I didn't get revenge. That's not what this is. What I got was boundaries. And boundaries aren't mean. They're just honest. The hardest part wasn't closing the door on them. It was realizing I'd been holding it open for years, waiting for them to walk through. And they never did. Not when it mattered. So I stopped waiting. I stopped hoping. And I started living. Nana June told me once when I was 17, "Maya, the people who love you won't make you prove it." I didn't understand that then. I do now. It's Thanksgiving evening. I'm sitting on the porch swing with a mug of cider going cold in my hands. Boone's asleep at my feet. The air smells like wood smoke and pine. My phone buzzes. A text from Rachel. "Leftovers tomorrow? I made way too much stuffing." I smile. I text back, "Absolutely. This is my family now. The one I chose. The one that chose me back." 3 years ago, I woke up in a hospital room, broken and alone, and I thought that was rock bottom. It wasn't. It was the starting line. Because that was the day I stopped waiting for people to see my worth and started building a life where my worth was never in question. And that's the story of how a house I inherited gave me back my life. Not because of the house itself, not because of the money, but because someone looked at me and thought, "She deserves this." And I finally believed it too. If this story resonated with you, I'd love to know. Would you have let them in, or would you have closed the door? Drop your answer in the comments below. I read every single one. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. There are more stories waiting for you. Thanks for listening.